Howdy folks, hope you're all having a great weekend and welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemonhunters, the game with the title that just doesn't know when to stop. Things are going reasonably well. I've finally figured out how to stop playing like an utter noob. I finally sent Inquisitor Waifu to start researching advanced seed access so I can actually start to get the plot rolling on this game. And I should at some point probably do something about upgrading the speed of my ship's engines, because I'm pretty sure that's going to come back to bite me in the arse in the not too distant future. For now, however, we have another mission, and this one's a bit of a bastard. So we're going to be splitting it up over the course of 2 videos. So, 3 more potential bloom spawns. I might get some tier 2 Terminator armor as a result of completing this one, but in order to get the glorious deed I have to win the mission without using grenades, which is unlikely, and it's also only going to give 1 requisition point. And yeah. Alright, let's see what else is available. So, over here, mission reward is a grimoire, that's nice. Faster research speed, but win the mission without using willpower? It's 3 extra requisition points, but the chances of me being able to do that are, well, 0. Our final mission objective will give me 10 servitors. I'm not exactly short of servitors at the moment, and finish mission before you take 25 damage for 2 extra requisition points. That's not impossible. I have had that as a glorious deed objective before in a previous restart, and I failed it miserably, but that was before I figured out how to play properly. So it is doable, but... oh, hang on a second. Stasis chamber is complete. The stasis chamber is the first rank of your apothecarium upgrades, your medical upgrades, and what it allows you to do is re-roll the stats and points of any of your crew, which isn't immediately useful, providing you haven't completely screwed up the points allocation of your Marines. And this is my 4th restart, so this time around I haven't. But it does lead on to bigger and better things, like reducing the length of time that Marines have to spend recovering from wounds. Oh, something's happened.
Warning. 3 servitors have been infected with Gallowpox. Quarantine protocols have been enacted, however, the contact source remains unknown.
Gallowpox? Some new development of the bloom?
Negative. Contamination commonly emerges from the Gallowfields during prolonged warp travel. Total unit deconstruction and scrubbing recommended.
Would it not be prudent to suspend operations until we can purify the ship entirely? Shipwide systems infection could cripple our progress.
With all due respect, purify. We cannot afford to sit on our hands while the bloom spreads unchallenged.
I don't have the time for this, so I'm going to have to purge the servitors.
Concern. Limited quarantine protocols may be insufficient.
Pray to your omnis sire that they are. We must press forward.
Yeah, I could afford to lose 3 servitors, but I couldn't afford the time it was going to take to get to the next mission, because I'm only going to make one of these missions in time, and I'm still going to have to do it without Apothecary Han, because he's still on assignment for another 7 days. Right, so my prognosticars don't cover this planet, so I only have limited intelligence on what's available. There are going to be 2 enemy reinforcements. The corruption level is 1. I could really use that tier 2 Terminator armor, and we are not going to be doing this glorious deed. You know how much I like my grenades. So, I'm feeling confident. None of my Marines are wounded. Everybody's either at rank 4 or 5, except for the new guy, Justicar Balls, and I'm only keeping him around until... oh, hang on a second. I nearly forgot. Gate of Infinity. All Knights teleport to any visible location. I unlocked my 2nd stratagem slot, didn't I? Right. Now, let's take some ass and kick some names. Yeah, they're healthy, but they're a little confused. Do I sound a little bit overconfident to you at this point? Yeah, that is going to come back and bite me in the arse on this mission. Although, to be fair, it wasn't so much overconfidence as just, well, basically being stupid. You'll see what I mean.
Are you certain the bloom is here, Ektar? This is a bustling industrial world.
The omens are plain. There is bloomspawn below. They corrupt the minds of the weak and the unworthy. Purge the unclean.
Well, is stupidity too strong a word? No, I don't think it is. But there's also a large element of complacency here because the previous missions have gone so well. But on this mission I'm going to run into a bunch of enemies that I haven't seen before, and therefore don't really know how to deal with. And on top of that, I'm going to do something incredibly stupid. So I'm going to move the boys up, same procedure as in previous missions, until I make initial contact. And we have not one but 2 Plague Marines, and at least one of them has some kind of heavy weapon. And the warp surge is rising 20% every turn, which isn't terrible, but it's certainly more than I've had to deal with before. So, Purgator Thule. I move him up to here, that's only 1 action point. And, well, he does have grenades to spare. Unfortunately, you can only reach 1 of them from here. And the knockback from the grenade will just knock that guy even further back out of range. Shooting him isn't even going to make a dent in his armour. The Psychic Onslaught ability is only going to hit him, although it would do more damage, but, well... The warp meter is rising by 20% per turn, so let's not go crazy with psychic abilities just yet. At least not unless there's a bigger benefit to it. So we'll shoot him again, which means Purgator Thule is now out of ammo, but the Chaos Marine is down to 8 hit points and has no armour left. Remember, armour regenerates at the start of every turn, so I need to make the most of this. Intercept the Storm. Move him down to there, but he'll only have the 1 action point left. Okay. Justicar Boars. Let's go ahead and honour the chapter. On Intercept the Storm, give him an extra 2 action points, because Justicar Balls does actually have Honour the Chapter now, after being such a good boy on the previous mission.
Unleash me.
So, where can I move Intercept the Storm to make the most of his remaining action points? He'll have 4 if I move him to there. Now his teleport does... Ooh, hang on. There's a patrol. Yeah, his teleport has a range of 15. Which means I can definitely hit him with a teleport strike. And I can hit him with a teleport strike, so we're definitely doing that. Where do I want him to be afterwards? That will do. I am going to warp charge this. This will put the warp meter up to 50%, so I'm not going to warp charge this. Instead, we're just going to do that. Now, he still has 4 action points, so... If I use the Hammerhand ability, which he did get in the previous mission, it's going to guarantee a crit at the cost of an increased warp meter. I'll go for the stun, but it does require a couple of stun stacks to actually stun a Plague Marine, so instead I'll just finish him off with Force Sword. That's 1 point of willpower back for the kill, and I don't need to do anything fancy to finish off the second Plague Marine, and that's another willpower point back for the kill. Combat is over, everybody reloads, everybody gets their action points back. Now over here we have one of the bloom spawns and the patrol. That's not good. So I'm just going to move Intercept the Storm up to here because I definitely don't want to encounter that patrol until everybody else is in a decent position. I figure I am probably going to have to fight that patrol and the bloom spawn at the same time. Whatever the hell a bloom spawn is. But I'd prefer it to be on my terms rather than theirs. Here's my first problem. By the time I'm set up and almost ready to breach with my Marines coming in from 2 different sides, the warp meter is already at 75%. Which means if I don't breach an assault on this turn, the warp meter is going to be at 100% on the next turn when I do breach, and that would be very bad. Now remember, as soon as I make contact, everybody gets their action points back, so I can stack everybody up on the entrances and then breach with one of these guys. But I want everybody to be as close as they possibly can be when I move in, when I breach with Justicar Iolanthus. So I can move him up as close as I like. He's pretty much going to initiate contact as soon as he kicks the door down. And there it is. Whatever the hell that is. So, warp rifts have opened. Well, one has. They're going to get reinforcements through that. That's less than ideal. They only have one reinforcement left for the remainder of this mission, though, which means they'll probably also get reinforcements when I attack the second bloom spawn. Right, Daemonhunters is going to move up to here. It's in half cover, and he does have Terminator armor. That's going to give him line of sight on a whole bunch of things, but what can he actually do when he gets there? That'll leave him one action point. What is this thing? A Feculent Gnarlmaw. Does a blast attack over area 6 to deal 3 damage. Armor pierce? Shit. Which means Terminator armor is no defense against that. Oh, and also everything in the zone around it takes -1 ranged damage. So I can't just stay out of the range of its armor piercing attack and shoot it. Or I can, but it's going to be not effective. Now what I should have probably done here was also check. You see all those little things around it that have a lot of armor? Yeah. I should have probably checked up on what those things do as well. Because pretty much everything here has either a ton of armor and or a shit ton of hit points. It finally occurs to me to see what these things are. Bloom branches. They have a ranged attack. It only has a range of 4, but it does 4 damage and it also ignores armor. So suddenly my 2 Justicars aren't feeling quite so brave. So, what to do? Justicar Bores. You know what? Ooh, Honor the Chapter is going to put the Warp Surge meter up to 85%, but we were going to get a Warp Surge next turn anyway, so as long as we don't get one this turn, that's fine. We'll go ahead and Honor the Chapter on Intercept the Storm. That's an extra 2 action points for him. This was kind of a minor error because I just, by reflex now, whenever I use Honor the Chapter, I use it on Intercept the Storm, but I didn't really stop to consider what it was I was going to do with him. Now the good news is the Teleport Strike does not require line of sight, so I can teleport straight through the wall and strike any visible enemies. I'll be able to get 1 Plague Marine and 1 Cultist. And I'd like to Warp Charge it, because that would kill the Cultist and severely hurt the Plague Marine. But I don't have enough willpower. It requires 4 and I only have 3. I'm not too worried about triggering the Warp Surge. That's going to happen this turn anyway.
The warp resists my will.
We can finish off that Cultist. Doesn't require a Force Strike. This has left me standing right next to the Seed Carrier and also the injured Marine. If I'm going to kill that Seed Carrier, I'm going to have to expend some willpower and upgrade this to a Force Strike, which will refund the willpower on the kill, and we're going to get a Warp Surge this turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Here, however, is where I commit an unforgivable blunder, because I'm not paying attention to the environment. What's that at my feet? What's that blue glowy thing at my feet? Is that a plasma cell? It is a plasma cell. Plasma cells don't like explodey things going off next to them, do they? No. No, they don't. Well, on the bright side, it's killed the Plague Marine, but it's also nearly killed me. And the only way out of here without taking any further damage is to teleport. Now, I do get a lucky break here because there's a 50% chance that any time Intercept the Storm uses a teleport ability, he gets the action point back, and he does, which means I can now Aegis Shield, because he only has 9 health left, and that's a lot of enemies. I did seriously think just restarting this mission and doing it over again, but then I thought, you know what, let's own my mistakes. Let's see if this is still going to be doable. So, Purgator Thule kicks the door in. But now what's he going to do? We're getting a Warp Surge anyway, we may as well blow all the willpower available, so yeah, we will Psychic Onslaught this thing. It's going to strip it of all of its armor, but again, remember, armor regenerates every turn, so if I don't kill it this turn, it's going to get all of that armor back. So I figure there's not a lot of point in expending willpower unless you're actually going to kill something with it, so just a regular attack. And that thing is immune to being stunned as well, so all kinds of fun for all the family. It still has 18 hit points left, and it's going to get its armor back at the beginning of its turn. Justicar Balls is too far away and doesn't have enough action points to do anything useful other than get himself into hard cover. Now, the good news here is not that Interceptor Storm is continuing to take burning damage and will do for 2 turns. It's that nobody is in shooting range of any of the bloom spawn things, because remember that thing does armor piercing damage. The extremely bad news is that while Purgator Thule doesn't actually take any shooting damage from these cultists because he's in hard cover, he is pinned by 2 overlapping sets of Overwatch. And while the bloom spawn can't actually shoot anything, it can give vile effluence to everybody around it, which gives them an extra 2 melee damage. And here comes the really bad news. Purgator Thule is pinned by 2 overlapping sets of Overwatch, and he's got these guys teleporting in behind him. And here's the Warp Surge. Okay, Miasma of Frailty, Zone of Weakness appears. That's actually not too bad. I mean, the area that it covers is on fire anyway, so I wouldn't be walking into it. But I do need to remove the Overwatch. And that's exactly what grenades are for. Right. Didn't kill them, but at least Purgator Thule can now actually do something. Justicar Balls is going to move down here and kill one of the cultists. This is putting him in range of one of the bloom spawn thingies, which he is not going to be able to kill unless, in fact, even if he uses a Force Strike. But hey, what the hell, why not? Remember, if we don't kill it this turn, it's going to get its armor back. And expending the willpower to use the Force Strike was a complete waste of willpower, because those things have a lot of armor, but they only have 4 hit points, and it only had 1 hit point left, which meant that Justicar Iolanthus could have killed it with the 1 action point that he was going to have to spend anyway, even if Justicar Bors had not used the Force Strike. So Bors expends the willpower doing an unnecessary Force Strike, which leaves him on 1 willpower, which means he can't do Honour the Chapter anymore. And Iolanthus is the one that gets the kills and recovers the willpower, even though he was on full willpower in the first place. So a complete waste of time, effort and energy. I mean, there were 2 less enemies to fight, so not a complete waste. But I definitely could have done that better. And here's another massive cock-up. I'm using Purgator Thule to shoot that thing instead of getting him into cover from the 2 bad guys behind him. All he's actually managed to do is scratch its armour off, but it's going to regenerate its armour at the start of its next turn anyway, and he's once again out of ammo with 2 bad guys standing behind him. But I need to capitalise on the bloom spawn having its armour stripped. Now, while Intercept the Storm is very vulnerable because he's on low health and he's got no armour, he is still capable of doing a shit ton of damage, so I expend the Quicksilver stratagem to give him an additional 2 action points, and he did get an action point back after using his teleport too. But I need to kill this thing. Oh, we got a crit, so we'll go for +2 damage. And again, we're now out of willpower. And again, it's got 4 health remaining. He can kill it. Right, so I don't have to worry about all of the Marines within 6 squares of the bloom spawn taking armor piercing damage, but I do still have to make sure that Intercept the Storm isn't going to get gunned down when those bad guys come through the doorway. He's got 1 action point left. I need to move him somewhere safe. Yep, that will do. Hard cover. Okay, what now? Oh, and he takes another 2 points of burning damage, because of course he does. Right, Purgator Thule is probably not going to have a good time here. That could have been a lot worse. I'll take it. Overwatch. Ah, right. Then again, that's probably the worst Overwatch ever, because it isn't actually covering him, so again, I'll take it. Now the cultist, who is armed with a grenade launcher and does hit Purgator Thule with a time bomb that doesn't go off this turn. Unfortunately, yep. Justicar Iolanthus was within range of the bloom spawn thingy, which strikes him for 4 damage and ignores his armour. So that thing does need to die. It's going to take another 2 hits, even if I force strike it. Then again, his psychic abilities don't actually increase the warp counter, although it is going to cost him willpower. Right, it's dead. Now, Purgator Thule. I can just walk him over here. Because that's the worst Overwatch ever. So he is not going to get caught by the time bomb. And then I fuck up and march him straight through the Overwatch to melee strike the cultist instead of shooting him from the cover that I just moved him into. Because I'm crap. What can I do with Justicar Bors? Well, I can't do anything that's going to kill anybody. So I guess just a regular straightforward melee attack. Oh, managed to get a crit. Stunned. stun. No, that won't actually stun him. It'll just advance the stun counter. Yeah, let's hack off his weapon on. That'll reduce his options. Now, intercept the storm. He's in a nice safe position. And he could probably... well, what can he actually do? No. No. You know what? If he ends his turn over there, they will kill him. And he's going to take more burning damage this turn anyway, so I'm just going to leave him in cover and end the turn. There goes the time bomb. Worst time bomb ever. Enemy turn. Chaos Marine. Disrupts our Justicar, which is fine because he wasn't channeling anything anyway. Second grenade pins Justicar Iolanthus. That's less than ideal. It's taken one of his action points away. Cultist with the grenade launcher retreats after reloading. Warp counter is now at 50%, and this is where I commit my... Actually, I'm not entirely sure how many cock-ups I've made so far. I'm starting to lose track. Because that cultist has retreated to within exploding distance of a dirty great big red fuel canister, which I don't shoot at. I mean, I'm going to have to reload first, but even after I've reloaded, I still don't shoot at it. And instead, I just pepper the Plague Marine with heavy weapons fire, which I can do twice. Once again, out of ammo. Gonna have to reload again. Well, I can at least finish off the Plague Marine with Justicar balls using the Demon Hammer. And I could quite easily, there we go, I finally figured it out. It's not actually going to kill him, but it is going to knock him halfway across the room. And it is going to leave him feeling very, very sorry for himself. Now I just have to make sure that we kill him, so he doesn't inflict any damage on Intercept the Storm or Purgator Fool. So, Iolanthus can move to there and have one action point left. Is he in shooting range? No, of course he's not. Well, we're going to have to honour the chapter. Somebody needs some bonus action points. Let's give it to Purgator Fool. He's going to have to reload, but this is fine. Honour the chapter is going to give him 2 additional action points. So you have to reload first, Jingles. You expended all your ammo in the previous turn. There we go. And I mean, the shot's going to kill him, but I could have also targeted the plasma cell next to him, which would have killed him too. But hey, dead cultist is a dead cultist. Doesn't matter how you got there. So, that was a bit of a mess. Complacency and, well, let's be honest here, outright stupidity have left the entire squad injured, with Interceptor Storm clinging on to life by a thread. He only has 3 hit points left. And that was just one of the 2 bloom spawns that we have to deal with on this mission. So, yeah. Not feeling so confident anymore. And we're going to see how this mission pans out in the next episode. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you're all having a great weekend. And as always, be pure, be vigilant, behave.